BS.
What up, my doodlies? It's your lovable baby boy Brank here, and I'm joined by my fabulous friend. What's your name, my boy?
The big lovable babysitter, J-Poo.
J-Poo. Now, I
Yeah.
think I forget this every single podcast, but this podcast is super BS. We're a podcast about video games mostly. Anyways, J-Poo, what have you been doing? Have you just been watching Star Trek every day?
It's been watching Star Trek. Yeah, you know, man.
This is a big
What
Star
was
Trek
I-
podcast.
What was I doing? So I just got back into The Office, actually.
Oh, same.
And,
Actually, it's so funny. Sandy and I just started that too.
Yeah. So Esprit has not seen The Office, so we watched that.
So
I showed her the healthcare episode because that's like my all-time favorite, and then I
That's
showed
the
her
second episode of the first season?
Yeah, and then I showed
Okay.
her the the sexual harassment episode.
So
which
that one I think is the second episode of the second season. I think the first season has the racism episode. Is the
yeah,
second
so
episode.
I got it confused. I got the sexual harassment because I wanted to show her the diversity day episode, but I
Oh,
got it
yeah, that one's so
confused
great.
with the other one. But yeah, man, it's a good show. It doesn't always I remember we always talked about it in high school. So I mean, you know, it still stands, but they don't always hit the mark. But when they do, it is pretty dang funny.
I still find it really enjoyable, man. It's a show I've gone back to multiple times since, in the last few years or whatever. But real quick, what's like one of your favorite Office episodes? Go.
Ooh, well, I mean, the healthcare episode, it's like my all-time favorite episode, just the Dwight being put in charge of healthcare, and then, I don't know, that scene where they get the ice cream sandwiches, and Jim chucks it out the window because he's trying to give it to Dwight. I don't know why that is so funny to me, but it just makes me laugh until I cry most days.
I don't know which one I love the most, but I know one of my favorites is the Olympics episode. Like they have like an Office
Oh.
Olympics, and
Yeah.
Michael's going to buy a house, and
right.
it's just hilarious. That whole setup, like he doesn't know which house he's buying. He's paying way too much for like this bad house. They think him and Dwight are partners, and they make a lot of stuff. It is classic, that early 2000s, still from 90s. Like you could make a joke about anything you want. I don't know, man. I do go back to that episode and season 2 and 3 specifically a lot.
Isn't that the episode where Dwight talks about how thin the walls are? If
he's like-
if the neighbor throws his wife against the wall, that plasma TV will come crashing down.
Yeah, if I were buying a coffin, I'd buy one with a bit thicker walls. Yeah, man. Well, as you know, on Super BS, we mainly talk about Star Trek and The Office. Definitely not about video games, but we're going to try something new here today. What is a video game, first time ever, that you have been playing? Big J.
Oh,
I know this is out of the blue.
Is like you've never asked me a question like this before.
We don't even, I'm not even
Yeah.
sure, is a video game an Atari? But
What is a video game? Is that like a Bop It?
It's a bop. It is a bop it, and
Yeah,
actually it's like Scramble, the game that only I know growing up. Every time I ask, do you know what Scramble is?
Scramble.
Scramball. No, you throw a ball up in the air, and it's like has different colors on it, and when it lands, if you find that person's color, you have to hit them. It's kind of like dodgeball. Anyways, I played that game a lot as a kid. Nobody else I've ever talked to knows what it is. Tell me a video game. That
was
is totally related.
that was Brank's excuse for bullying kids when he was little. No, he landed on your color red, man.
Yeah, I was a big time bully. Everybody knew me as Brank the Bully. That was actually my main name, and that was when bowling was cool.
Yeah.
Schools encouraged bowling back
Yeah,
then.
his AIM screen name was Baby Bowl 2000. So
Baby Bowl. Spelled BOWL because I was afraid my parents would think it was Bowl S. So
yeah,
Baby Bowl.
don't want people getting mixed up. So I've been playing. So I downloaded a couple games on Games Pass this week.
Okay.
I got
What's Games Pass?
what is this Games Pass? No,
Never
I got
talked about it.
I got the Blair Witch Project, which I was hoping to start last night, but I didn't finish the one I was playing, and then I got A Night in
Okay.
the Woods, which I am playing. So,
Real quick, before we get to Night in the Woods, which you were talking about Blair Witch, which remind me of horror games, which I know you haven't played Resident Evil 7 yet, which is on Games Pass, and you should try that. Did you ever play the games Dead Space on the Xbox
Yeah.
360?
yeah, I love those games.
Those are supposed to be great. I've played a little bit of one, but it's extremely scary. So I was just thinking.
So the difference
Scary
to
Man
me
himself,
between
you.
everyone always says like Resident Evil is the best horror franchise, and Silent Hill is another one that gets recognized a lot.
Yeah.
Dead Space, what made Dead Space so great is that like it is terrifying because there's a lot of parts where you're just floating around, like you can't control what you're doing, and you're hearing all these noises all around you. And I think like that was one thing that really made Dead Space stick out. That, and it's also like your you have the ability to upgrade your weapons, and that was something that Resident Evil never offered. But
At that time it didn't. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm hopeful, that we will see another Dead Space game somewhere down the line. I know Visceral is no longer part of EA, right? If I remember correctly.
Don't know if they're like not part of it, like they got sold off, or if they just got like enveloped by another company, like they just are consumed and now they're part of someone else. And the best part of Dead Space is in space no one can hear you scream, so it's a very quiet game.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
Everybody knows that. That is a very famous thing. Visceral Games. It looks like it ended in 2017. So
I feel like EA still has to own the patent for that game though, right?
Yeah, I'm sure they own the IP, but yeah, I don't know, man. So they were working on that Star Wars title, Project Ragtag, that got canceled. The last game they did was Battlefield Hardline. So yeah, man, they did an Army of Two game right before that. Man, I didn't realize Battlefield Hardline was also on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360.
Yeah, you can go to the store, like you can go to GameStop and get that game for like $1.
I did not know that, because is Battlefield Hardline before Battlefield 4? Because I totally thought Battlefield 4 came out.
Battlefield Hardline was like a prequel to Battlefield 4, and wasn't it?
No, Battlefield 4 did come out first. Battlefield 4 came with the consoles in 2013. Battlefield Hardline came out 2 years later in 2015, but I guess we were still making PS3 360 games at that time. That is so wild, man. I did not know. They also did the Godfather games, which I've heard were pretty good. Never played them, but the Mafia-esque games. Anyways, Night in the Woods. I played it a little bit too. What have you thought about it? What is the game? Tell us. Tell us all. We know
okay, so
nothing.
this game this game went under my radar. I don't know how I didn't. I remember someone talking about it. I remember seeing a video of it, but I never played it because I forgot about it. So
yeah.
That being said, I enjoy it. I really like it. I love so you're an animal. You're a cat, as you know since you've played it. You're a cat, and you go home after dropping out of college. You haven't quite told your parents yet, but you go back to your hometown. Everyone's happy to see you. Your dad was like a former alcoholic, and all your friends are working these small town jobs, and there's all these things you discover on your journey as a cat. So this game, I don't know, it hits home. It has those problems that we face growing up, right? Like not knowing what we want to do with ourselves, not having the opportunities that our parents had, not going to school and not wanting to go to school. It's all very relatable. One of my favorite things about this game, though, is the soundtrack. It feels good to play. I get that feeling. When you're sitting at home as a kid and you turn on the Sega or Nintendo or whatever, and you're just it felt like home. That's what this game feels like to me. A few things to say about it is very dialogue driven, so you have to read a lot. But it is, I guess you can consider it a platformer. But one of the cool things about this game is that it has a bunch of mini games in it. So you have a music game in there. So your cat is like a bass player, And so you can play like this Guitar Hero-esque style game where you're trying to like match the buttons up with the notes. And there's another one where you turn on the laptop, and it's a roguelike, I think, where it's like a top-down dungeon crawler, and it's like this. It goes on and on and on. So it's not like something you just play briefly. Like there are a bunch of different levels that you can play through. I just got last night. I just finished the part where it's like the night in the woods, right? Where you go to this party with your friends in the woods. I just finished that. Now I'm trying to like figure out what happens next, but I got too tired to finish the game. That being said, though, I do love the game. How far did you get in it?
I think I've only done like 2 days. Like I just got my computer fixed because you have like viruses on it. So I played the bass with the band a little bit. That mini game is pretty fun. By the way, the reason why you know about this game is, one, it came out in 2017, around the time of Switch. Everybody was talking about it back then. And I think this was after Super BS, but I'm pretty positive that you and Donna and I talked about this. The co-creator, Alec Holoka, he killed himself in 2019. He was dealing with like a lot of mental health issues, and it sounds like he was part of the cancel culture. He did something to someone, and he was canceled, and he was cut off from the game, and a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, he's like a programmer, been programming since the age of 8. He also did the music for the game Towerfall Ascension, which was a pretty popular game. They made the group that made Celeste was their next game, okay. And then he became friends with Night in the Woods Scott Benson and Bethany Hockenberry, and they're the 3 people who made this. So
that would make sense because this game does address a lot of mental health issues in its narrative, so that would make sense.
Yeah, I really like the narrative. There's other stuff that I've been playing, so I fell off it. And the other thing is, some inside baseball here. I've been getting hard into Microsoft Rewards, and one of the Microsoft Rewards deals this thing is every single gamer score point you gets you Microsoft Rewards points, which can be turned into Xbox currency, Amazon gift cards, whatever. And Night in the Woods, I could not get an achievement to pop up in that game. I don't know when they pop up, but I probably played an hour to 2 hours, and I don't feel like in a single achievement popped.
So I looked at all of them. They're all secret achievements. So I got one last night because I did something at this party. I think I like drank until I puked or something, but like I got one achievement finally popped up last night.
And you've been playing for like a few hours now, right?
Yeah.
At least?
I'm about 3.5 hours in.
So it sounds like you're not even at the end of part 1 then, if that's your first achievement, because I'm looking right now, just curious about it, but you get an achievement for the end of each part, according to the
I got,
website.
How many parts are there? Because I just got, I got to part 2 last night, so that's probably what the achievement was for.
Okay, yeah. So they have, part 1, part 2, part 3, and part 4. So, I would love to play more of it, but I'm kind of on this achievements grind, so I'm playing games that I played a long time ago and other stuff where it's like, okay, I kind of know what I'm doing to get the achievement in this. It's a fun game. I'm not like trying to play like garbage games to get quick achievements. I'm trying to play stuff that I like, but I know, hey, it's gonna.
Yeah, right. Is that why you were playing Cars the other night? Jeez.
That's why I'm playing Cars and Garbage Pail Kids, the game made after the movie made after the game. So
that's what I thought.
Man, I really like Night in the Woods. I do want to get back to it. I have been playing 2 things. One I spoke about last week, but I'm actually going to talk more about that because that's mainly what I've been playing. And then I played on Games Pass as well. This is a Games Pass podcast, just in case you haven't been paying attention. That's all we talk about. We don't talk about Switch. So, no, I've still been playing Hades, still been playing the Super Mario 3D All-Stars trilogy. I think I didn't mention this on the podcast. I got 120 stars in Mario 64. So, everybody congratulate me. It's the hardest thing ever. I did it, and you're a loser if you don't do it. If your name is Big J and you don't have 120 stars.
All right. Stop.
Guaranteed you're a loser. But anyways, so on my Xbox, I haven't touched my PlayStation for a while. I picked up or downloaded, I guess, because it's part of Games Pass, Doom Eternal, which was the big kind of get when they got Bethesda. It's good. It's kind of the same problem I have with Doom 2016. Like, it's cool. I don't know if I care enough to keep playing. I'm playing on the normal challenge, and it's incredibly difficult. Like, I've died at this one section multiple times. I don't even know how to get through the section. So I don't know if I want to go down to very easy to get through it. But, Yeah, I like it. I definitely recommend it. The music's cool. The setting's pretty cool. Like it's fun, but I don't know if I'm gonna play it. To be honest, like I struggled playing Doom 2016. I played about 3 levels of it, and I just got over it.
So
So
I got to in Doom 2016. I got to like the 5th or 6th level, and then
mhm.
I just kept running out of ammo, and so like I
Yeah.
just got to the point where I couldn't do anything. Like there were no more weapons to pick up. I was just stuck, and so
Yeah.
that happened to me 2 or 3 times. I finally just gave up on it.
You're supposed to use the chainsaw like intermittently to get ammo and do all that other stuff. But yeah, no, I feel you. I think that's a cool system that they made, but it gets really frustrating if like you miss a lot of shots, which is pretty much it. If you miss quite a few shots, you are screwed. There's not enough ammo in that game. Like you pretty much need to hit every shot. But yeah, so we'll see if I go back to that. The thing that I actually want to talk about, because I forgot how much I love this game, Sleeping Dogs. I talked about this a little bit last week.
Oh, yeah.
Takes place in Hong Kong. It's a GTA ripoff. The Xbox One PS4 edition is kind of not that much better. It's slightly better looking, but it's got all the DLC and stuff. That game is great. If you haven't played it yet, you should. It's just, it harkens back to those old days of like, oh, hey, there's street races here, and there's this to do, and you can do this if you want, and everything you do gives you this. And then it's actually the sequel to a series. Did you ever play the True Crime games? They had 2 of them, True Crime New York and True Crime Streets of L.A.
Yeah, wait, wasn't it True Crime Noir? Wasn't that one of them, or is that?
No, that's you're thinking of what's that game called? It's a Rockstar game you're thinking of. Noir, L.A. Noir.
Okay,
You're thinking of L.A.
all
Noir.
right. Yeah.
No, True Crime games. They are. Let me see, just so I get this right. Yeah, True Crime Streets of L.A. And then the first, is it the first or second? Oh, the second one is True Crime New York City. So those are 2 of them. This was the spiritual successor. It is Sleeping Dogs, and it takes place in Hong Kong, which not a lot of games take place in Asia unless you're talking about Yakuza. And unlike Yakuza, where you're just, you brawl and you walk around a city, like this, city block or whatever, and that block is really fleshed out and detailed, this is more like GTA. You're going lots of places, and very few of those places are detailed or fleshed out, but it's just fun driving around. And they've got a lot of fun moves that they had in the True Crime games where, like, you can jump from your car or your bike to another car if you're close enough and hijack it that way. Or,
Whoa.
you shoot out tires. Yeah, it's stuff that when it came out in 2012 was, like, incredible. I was like, whoa. And I 100%ed the game when it came out. So I was like, oh, I'll turn this on again. I haven't played the definitive edition. And yeah, man, I'm digging it. That's the thing I've been playing the most. That's not like Apex, Hearthstone, Hades, is this Sleeping Dogs. It's just a blast.
Do they have like a mobile version of the game called Sleeping Cats, or is that
that's
like still in
that's
development?
You watch cats too. That's mainly
Yeah.
it. There's just a bunch of cats. It's a live video feed. It's called Sleeping Cats, and you could send them toys if you want, but you don't have to. You just watch them sleep too.
Available right meow.
Available right meow. Nice. Everybody's gonna love these puns hardcore.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's good. You should check it out. But honestly, game-wise, I feel like October is the month of backlogs. Like, I don't know if... Did you get Star Wars Squadrons or Crash 4?
No, those are 2 games I want. I just like I don't know. I don't want to spend any money on... I'm not like dying to spend money on games right now. I want to go get Assassin's Creed when it comes out for sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I might just wait until some of the holiday sales start happening to go pick things up.
Yeah, it's really weird. I'm in the same boat. Like, Star Wars Squadrons and Crash 4 came out to really good reviews. They both scored like 8s and higher for the most part. And on Metacritic, they're both resting, I think, above an 80, which is, normally high. Like, very good for games that people weren't really sure of. At the end of the month, Pikmin 3 and Watch Dogs Legion comes out, like we talked about last week. And I'm excited for Watch Dogs Legion. I don't know if I'm going to buy it day one because Ubisoft normally drops the price of their games like in a month or 2. So if you're patient at all.
Well, I'm sure too when that New Year's Eve sale happens on Microsoft, Ubisoft usually has all their new stuff at a discount price.
Yeah, that's kind of the hard part for me. Like, I want to play Valhalla day one. I want to play Watch Dogs Legion day one. But it's like, I know if I have a little bit of patience, I'll play it for 40% off, 30% off, like very quickly after it comes out. So, yeah, man, I really am struggling to want to buy games as well. And Pikmin 3, I would pick up in a heartbeat if it was $40, but it's coming out at $60. And it's an old game that I own on Wii U that I got for free with my Wii U. So it's
Pokemon 3. Yeah.
Yeah, Pokemon 3 free. I honestly think the next full price title that I for sure will buy will be Cyberpunk. Before that, I don't even know. But
just went gold, man. Just went gold.
I know that was announced today. Well, we got some news. I don't know if that's going to make the news. Well, maybe that will make the news because there was some other news about it this week too. But we'll be back with the news in just a sec. Super BS. Here we're back and we're ready to kick the dead. That's what you do when you're back. You kick dead people. So I've been at a mortuary all day just kicking coffins and bringing the people out to kick them. Everybody loves dead jokes and dead people jokes. Anyways,
you're killing me.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. People love that when you attack their ancestors. Cyberpunk 2077 went gold, but that wasn't all the news. While that happened today, last week, the news was that they are going to go into a period of crunch. And as always, when people talk about a period of crunch, the people who don't want crunch to happen, which is the majority, rightfully so, started coming out with articles about cancel it, delay it, whatever, you know what I mean? Don't buy the game, blah, 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 blah.
Polygon and IGN and Kotaku.
Yeah, and, I'm torn because, I get it. Don't make your employees do something they don't want to do. But I think a lot of employees probably want to get the game out this year. I wouldn't be surprised if the studio doesn't have infinite money and they need to get the game out this year, too, to make some money because it probably has cost them a lot of money to make this game. And, yeah, man, what are your thoughts before I just probably go on a rant? Because I have a lot of thoughts on this.
So I feel like a lot of this, when this happens, you have someone who uses the term crunch and then it gets misconstrued. And so you have these companies like IGN and Polygon, Kotaku, we're justice warriors. They put on their capes and their spandex and then they start writing all these articles. And before you know it, you have a problem on your hands. I think that's what happens most of the time. Because remember with the Red Dead Redemption thing, it was talked about, and then it turns out, after talking to a lot of the employees inside, it wasn't as bad as all the media made it out to be. So when I hear stuff like this, I have a hard time really believing it unless I hear it straight from the mouths of the people that work there.
Yeah, well, another thing that makes this all pretty interesting is CD Projekt Red also said that all these people are going to be paid. This isn't just part of their salary. They're going to get bonuses for doing this crunch. It's a 6-week crunch, which is a lot. I have to imagine that, I don't know exactly how things are in Poland right now, but I have to imagine that they went through a period of shutdown, so they might have also been put, behind due to that. And my other thought, because I heard a lot of people complain about this, like, hey, don't put the employees this way, they don't want to work this hard, is like, and this is maybe not the right attitude to have, but hey, man, I'm unemployed right now. I'd love to have their job, especially with a bonus. I would be very, very happy. I don't want to say it's kill for that job, but I'd be very, very happy to take a job off someone's hands. Now, do I understand people being like, hey, this isn't good for mental health. This isn't good to work someone 60 hours a week. Totally. It's not good to do that. But if they're all going to have a little bit of time off, like a week or two off after, a lot of jobs have periods of sustained heavy work. I just went through one of those with the side thing that I do that's very light most of the time is I had a period of heavy work, which I was entirely grateful for. Now, I get that, this is different, but in this year of all the years to do it, I feel like it's disingenuous to complain about having work because I don't know how things are in Poland, but right now in America, I want to say we're still at a resting 20% unemployment. So that's my kind of point and caveat. There's a lot of people lumping what they dislike about this game together. I guess a lot of the gangs in the game are based on ethnicities. This is a game from a Polish company, not an American company. This is from a place, a Polish company.
Aren't most gangs based on ethnicities?
People don't like that anymore.
World?
You can't say that, man. That's racist. I'm not trying to, it's
no,
like,
I know, but I
it's-
mean,
no, I agree with you, but I'm just saying,
that's
like,
weird.
that's what things have become now. You cannot say that. So every single group needs to be a group of every single nationality and personhood and have no defining characteristics. Even if that's not like how gangs are formed, gangs are generally formed because, and this is what like a person at a very liberal university that I went to told me, gangs are generally formed because groups are harassed or attacked, so they build up their numbers, generally based on their race or whatever, and then they become a gang themselves and harass and attack others. That's how gangs are formed. So a lot of times it is an ethnic thing. One group doesn't feel like they have any power, so they create a group, and they're that's from a person at a liberal university. So like trying to say that gangs are not related by ethnicity is literally insane. There are groups of people all over who feel that they're attacked or feel like they have no place, and those are the types of people often who end up in like gang, and I put that in quotes, like situations.
So I feel like you can't, if you're a fan of this game and these things are upsetting you, like you're wanting to play and this kind of thing upsets you, you don't really have a horse to ride on here because like so much of this game is like it's twisted. You can customize your genitals, you can customize body parts, you can say what you want, you can be whatever you want. Like I don't think that these are things they're really thinking about. They're just giving people, they're trying to avoid the whole thing by letting you literally create whoever you want in this game, however you want to. Totally. So I don't think they're doing any of this stuff on purpose. They're just trying to like make sure they hit everything. Like if you think about it, this game seems like it's turning out to be a fair representation of the modern world.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I lived over in mainland China. We've talked about that a few times, and they have a very different culture than we do. Probably most people here would refer to it as very conservative because of they don't have a lot of different groups represented that are represented here. But I think judging other cultures based on what America values or groups in America value, like, I don't think that's fair. So does that mean like we don't accept any games from any country that's not America? Because like, I don't know if you look at Japanese culture, but they generally don't respect minority groups for the most part. I know that's something new that they're trying to do, but like, does that mean we boycott all Japanese games because they don't value the things we value? Or do we try to bully them to say, hey, we want this, you only do this thing, or else if Japanese culture has had crunch for forever. Why are they not being attacked?
I just want the audience to know, you can't see this, but our friend Branky here has a fire in his fireplace, and it's being fueled by Fire Emblem games. So
yeah, I'm burning all Japanese games, and I burned all Japanese company products. I'm against book burnings if they're for moral reasons, but I have to burn other stuff because companies' ethics don't align with mine. No, I mean it's just the insanity that we're in. Like, I try to stay away from political things, but this is getting to a point where it's like, hey, if you don't want to play Cyberpunk 2077, by all means, you don't have to play it. Like, don't buy it. Don't buy it. Don't play it. If you want to play it, buy it and support them. Don't pirate it. Don't say, oh, well, I don't agree with their standards, but I really want to play it, so I'm going to steal from them. Because that is another thing that people are doing. What?
So it's very contradicting.
That's a very common thing, though. People are saying, like, well, I'm going to steal it now because I don't want to give that company money. And then also remember, depending on why you're boycotting them, if it's based on crunch, the only people you're going to hurt when you boycott a company during crunch is the employees. They will have to let go of those employees who had jobs, and then you will have nothing. You will essentially be hurting the people that you're supposed to be standing up for, because it's not going to hurt the heads of the company most of the time. They can find new employees. So yeah, I'm like, about this stuff, I'm going to play Cyberpunk 2077. If you want to play Cyberpunk 2077, by all means, go ahead. If you don't, totally know what's going on, I guess. Do I wish we lived in a world where people weren't worked often and hard, and where people got more monetary share of the value of the company? Of course. I would love that. Of course I'd love it. but trying to hurt a company because you disagree with their ethical policies, which will in turn only hurt the employees that you're trying to protect, it's insanity. It's literally insanity. Do you have any other thoughts about that before we move on to some of the less heavy news?
Yeah, well, yes and no. I just I feel like it's kind of dumb to like be upset about something like this. You know, it's I'm sure if the employees had a problem with like the crunch, that they would probably make their concerns known.
I mean, I'm pretty positive there's going to be an employee who has a concern.
Right.
But go ahead.
Right. But I mean, you know, I feel like most of this stuff when it comes to article like news like this, it's very assumptive.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, man, it's weird. But I want to get to something that's actually really infuriating because this stuff just doesn't matter at all. They are changing the face of Spider-Man from the PS4 game for the PS5 remake. Oh no, they didn't. That's what I'm about to say.
Oh my gosh.
They did some ageism on that Spider-Man. Now he looks 10 years younger. I'm about to be pissed right now, real hardcore.
So what they're saying here is that older people can't be Spider-Man? Like this is now a game for kids?
Yeah,
what
that's
in the
what
world?
They're saying. And they're saying to kill all old people. That's the subtext. You just didn't read it. You missed it. They're saying, hey, we want to kill old people by changing the face of our Spider-Man. No, but anyways, I thought this controversy was pretty funny. It is weird. I will agree with the people who are kind of angry. It's kind of weird that they remastered the game, but they changed the face of one actor to more resemble, I guess, Yuri Lowenthal, the voice actor. That's what I've heard. But it could also be to like unify how Spider-Man looks across multiple games. If that's what they're going to do, nobody's really certain.
Was anybody, just out of curiosity, was anybody at all complaining about this?
Oh, you mean about original Spider-Man's face? Or about this new thing? No,
about
nobody was. Oh, about the old
how
Spider-Man.
How about the other Spider-Man looked?
I don't know. We'd have to go back to like comments from like 2017 when they showed us. You know what I mean? Like that's when people would have complained because the game comes out, everybody just plays it or they don't. You know, maybe there's one guy in the threads who's like, I don't like the way this looks. You know, but no. And then a lot of the people grew to like him. And Spider-Man's supposed to be, I think, a little bit older. I haven't played the game in a while. You said you played it recently, right?
Yeah. I mean, I thought that this was like college Peter Parker, but they've changed it to look more like a high school Peter Parker.
Yeah, so there's stuff like that is strange. I don't know if it deserves all like the ire that the internet is drawing upon it, but I mean, we live in an age where, you know, you could change a smiley face to a sad face on something and 50 million people would come out and like start trying to protest and attack you for it. So I don't know. For me, I thought it was like a dumb change, but I don't think it was like I understand that people like the way that Spider-Man 2018 looked. I get that it's weird. I think that game is still available and you can play it on your PS5. And this is actually like a totally different game you have to buy. So, and to the next news article, the save won't even transfer over if you do buy it. So you have to start from scratch. So the way I look at it is like, does it really matter? Like they're both going to exist. Like both Spider-Men exist. Like I think it's weird, but I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts about how Sony hates old people and wants them to die, or that's a new news article I'm gonna put on CNN?
Yeah, that's what their next. That's what their next. Didn't you see the announcement they made? The thing about their next big PS5 exclusive is actually called "Old People Must Die."
Old people must die, and you take them. It's real sick. You take them to gas chambers.
The cover actually has like a walker with a tennis ball on it, but it's all bloody.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
Jeez.
It's like
Sony.
Not State of Decay. What was that game that came out by Rockstar? State of Emergency. But
yes.
instead of riots, you're just killing old people randomly. It's really sad and sick. Now to actual real news that is confounding, and I could understand people being angry, even though I don't think anyone is not all PS4 saves are going to transfer to PS5. Now I'm not sure how this works. I assume they mean that for the games that they're going to resell you on PS5 or that have a different version, I don't think your PS4 save is going to transfer to that game. But I think if you're playing a PS4 game backwards compatible on your PS5, which we still don't even know how many of those are backwards compatible, I think you could still use your original save. But this is going to get messy, man. This just whole thing is getting real messy with Sony.
I wonder how they determined what games would have the ability to save and what games wouldn't, or if there's some kind of internal system issue that was preventing it from doing it across all games.
So yeah, I hate just drawing comparisons, but kind of for this, and if you hear an ambulance, that's on my end. Kind of for this, that's
that Fire Emblem fire, man.
Yeah,
it's getting
that's
out of hand.
That and the old people, man. I keep beating them up. They just have to keep saying ambulances all day. That was actually a fire engine. Sorry. I know you guys know the difference. Those who know fire code are probably like, you idiot. Anyways, yeah, the comparison is like with Xbox, all this stuff is going to be smooth. Like essentially you could sell your Xbox One today, and when you buy a Series X, you don't need to worry about any of that stuff transferring over because they have cloud saves that are free as part of your like account. That's the weird thing about PS5, man. Sony is really bad with like future forward thinking or whatever you want to call it. Like nothing seems to be future proof with their stuff. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. But transferring stuff from PS4 to PS4 Pro, while it wasn't super hard, it still wasn't pleasant. I had to go add a USB stick, go find the thing, copy and paste, go over to the next, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't hard.
Yeah.
It wasn't anywhere as nearly as difficult as the Wii to Wii U transfer I did or the 3DS to the new 3DS transfer I did. But it's still like, why this exists? Why can't you guys just do what the other company's doing? Like, it works.
Right.
It works well, you know? So, I don't know, man. I think this is going to get really, really messy at least the launch. I have a feeling like people are going to be pretty angry if a lot of the backwards compatible games don't work and what happens. But we won't know really till it launches. And I think they're still only saying 100 games. So I can't remember how many games came out on PS4. How many games are on PS4? Let's just check real quick.
So does that mean my Gran Turismo 2 saves won't carry over? Is that...
Yeah, your Gran Turismo 2. They said no backwards compatibility, but you've been somehow moving this Gran Turismo 2 save from console to console. You've been hacking it in. Nobody even knows why you're doing that. You can't even play the game, but you've been hacking that
there's
save
a will,
to your
there's
system.
a way, you know?
So there are 650 games on the PS4 right now, and they have said that only 100 of them will for sure work on backwards compatibility. That's on PS4 now. Sorry, let me see. Wow. Okay, I was actually really, really wrong. There are 2,924 games on the Wikipedia for PS4. So,
Dang.
yeah, if that number's true and there's only 100 backwards compatible games out of almost 3,000, then yeah, we'll see what happens, man, come November, December. But maybe nobody will care. Maybe people will be up in arms. Who knows? Yeah, but on that note, Xbox I think all their test units went out to a bunch of companies, and Digital Foundry, they're like a really cool company who does like frame rate checks, a bunch of other stuff. They got their hands on a Series X, and they did like a performance test on, right now, only backwards compatible games. They don't have any of the current Series X games on it, but they did some compatibility tests, and dude, it is awesome. That SSD is killing it. Games like Final Fantasy 15 that had like, I think it was like a minute and 20 load time. Now it's 15 seconds.
What?
And the frame rates for a lot of games, even if they were like Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, right? It was supposed to be, I think, uncapped, so it could hit up to 60. But most of the time it was like between 30 and 40, right? Now it's like a solid 60 almost the entire time, only dipping down to like 50, mid-50s.
Whoa.
Yeah, man.
That's impressive.
So, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Like Outer Worlds, a game that I like hate going back to because the load times are so bad. I want to say it's like it's a third or a quarter of the load time now to play it on the next gen. It's like, 12 seconds from like a minute. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, it definitely makes me want these new consoles, knowing that, like, hey, I turn on a game, I'm not going to be sitting there the whole time waiting for the game to load.
It's that sweet, sweet ray tracing, man.
Yeah, it's about the ray tracing, even though that has nothing to do with the SSD.
The ray
or
tracing and the SS gigabytes and the
yeah, all the SS gigabytes and
the
SS
four,
Odysseys.
it shows 4K and 8K. I mean,
Yeah,
what
man.
do you expect?
There's all the petabytes and all the things. Anyways, what do you are you excited for this at all? Do you want? I know we talked about Series X. Does this matter to you at all?
I mean, it's exciting. I'm not like you when it comes to like load times. I know that you even have a thing for games that you can't just load back into as soon as you turn your console back on. I know we've talked about that before, but
It's really
to me,
annoying.
like it doesn't stop me from playing a game. You know, if I have to like sit there and watch it load, it doesn't really make me mad. I don't like it, but it doesn't like take away from the experience for me.
So what you're
But,
saying is your time is valueless, and you don't value your time, and you wish that you could just sit there staring at load screens all day.
Here's the thing. If I was not sitting on a couch playing video games, I would have to be doing something more productive. So when you ask me like
you
what
could be
I would rather
playing
do,
the game, you could actually be playing versus watching a screen that's like, hey, you're gonna play this at some point.
well, sometimes they
Some
let
point
you like
later.
rotate objects, you know, and they tell you fun facts. So it's like
That's
it's like having a
crazy.
Snapple.
You'll still get that. 15 seconds is plenty of time to read those facts. Yeah, man, for me, this is honestly a game changer. It was one of the biggest things that moved me to an Xbox One X. I don't even have a 4K TV. I could care less about 4K, but I want something to move quickly. They had the quick resume feature they showed it. It's like 6 seconds from most games. Like the idea that I can go from Doom Eternal to Sleeping Dogs back and forth whenever I want sounds amazing. So... And, you know, I mean, with that, I know your main thing, though, that you care about, because you don't care about load times, is Super Smash Brothers. You've been a crazy Super Smash Brothers player. You're the #1 fan, and you love Minecraft. So when Minecraft characters were announced for Smash this week, you told us, and this I quote from the text, I shit and pissed myself at the exact same time in class. You were teaching, so it was really awkward.
Yeah, it was fun. I still haven't changed. So
yeah, it was. I mean, it's kind of sick, man. So you really
I
need
just
to get that.
wanted to really like preserve my excitement, you know.
Yeah, I just I wish you would you know, have some bladder control, but you just love that game so much.
Sorry, you say Minecraft and
it's done. It's gone. Exploded.
Puddles. Just call me Puddles, you know.
I call you J Puddles. No, did this do anything for you? I couldn't care less about the Minecraft character.
No, I actually like. This might make me unpopular, but like I don't like.
You're unpopular. I already got.
I don't like. I'm not a huge fan of Smash Bros. I like to play it with people, but like it's not one of those games that I'm like. I'm not good at brawlers, man. I'm not good at fighting games. Like I need
get good.
Just get better, man. It's that simple. So you know, I could take it or leave it. I wouldn't mind playing and trying out the Minecraft characters, but I'm not like jumping for joy over it.
I know you're jumping for joy. Did you get Smash at all? Do you own it?
No.
Okay, so
that's
you're not.
what I said. Like I just play it. I play it with friends. You know, I've had the guys from Topicocalypse bring their Switches over, and we've played before, but not. Yeah.
Yeah, I bought the first season pass for characters because it had the Dragon Quest hero and Banjo-Kazooie and mainly those two, but even like Joker from Persona 5 was like kind of neat. This season pass so far, it's been a character from ARMS and Minecraft Dude has not sold me on it yet because it's like $25 and I think it's 5 characters what you get. We'll see what they have lined up. I think they still have 3 more to announce. Some of their like costumes are pretty neat. Like they have a Bomberman costume that looks pretty cool, and you can throw bombs and stuff, but those don't come with the season pass, and you have to pay like $3 for it.
So when is Claptrap joining the fray is what I want to know.
Yeah, I know. Everybody's favorite Borderlands character, Claptrap. Everybody loves the humor in Borderlands. Have you ever been on the internet? Everybody's favorite thing. Tiny Tina all day long, man. I cannot listen to her enough. I have her as my ringtone, just yelling annoying stuff at me all the time. And I don't think it's annoying. That's what the internet said. Well, anyways, the news has kind of been light. I have a feeling we're going to get some big news soon, but we will find out. But you know what I was thinking about this week? Because I listened to another podcast and they did this exact same topic, and I still wanted to do it because I love this, because years ago we did Dream 3. I was thinking about the game... Butts, yeah. Mainly butts. I was thinking about games that I love Sleeping Dogs, that have not got a sequel. There's been no sequel announced, and let's talk about that. This is going to be a quick topic. 3 games that we both want to see. We'll go back, forth. We'll talk about what we'd like to see in those sequels. We'll talk about the game that we want to have a sequel. We'll do it all, okay? But don't tell me about an announced game. Don't say Halo. Don't say Halo. We already know Halo's coming.
You just ruined
Don't
my
say
list. My games were Halo 1, 2, and 3. So I mean, I just have to throw this whole list away. Jeez.
I want sequels that are games that are already made, and you'll fight the Covenant and you'll go to Zanzibar. I just made up that name.
Fight the Zanzibarbarians.
Zanzibarbarians. Okay, you start it out, or actually, I'll start it out because my first one is real easy. Sleeping Dogs 2. They tried to make a sequel that was an online MMO, fell apart. We never got it. It was like Triad Wars or something. I want another game like Sleeping Dog. It doesn't have to take place in Hong Kong, but takes place somewhere in Asia instead of Europe or America. And you go around doing GTA-style quests, and there's multiple leveling up functions like this where you can find martial arts statues and do different things, and plays out like a Departed style thing where you're with the police working with the gangs, because that's always pretty fun because you get 2 different options for things. Doesn't have to be that story point, but that's what I want, is a Sleeping Dogs style successor. Get out of here, GTA 6. We know we're gonna get you. Give me that Sleeping Dogs 2.
Woof, woof.
What's your game? Yeah, woof woof. They'd be sleeping, okay, you idiot. They wouldn't be woofing.
Just need a harp, man, like Fluffy. So my first game here is Advent Rising. I have
wow.
I have a
like
very
that.
special place in my heart for this game. This was
the
first game that I played that truly utilized is my first big third person game.
Yeah.
So I was really excited because from what I understood, there's a whole trilogy planned, and then it got scrapped and
he got canceled. Orson Scott Card. He's now canceled for, I can't remember why, but he's canceled, so he won't do it.
Ender's Game, man. Ender's Game.
It's good.
Did
but
he
got
really
canceled.
get cancel culture?
Yeah,
got him?
he got cancel cultured. I think 4 years ago. He said
Wow.
a homophobic slur. I don't even know what it was. It was probably he didn't agree with homosexuals. I don't even know what it was, honestly, but I just remember reading it and being like, oh, he's canceled. Too bad. It was right after or right during the Ender's Game movie. So you're never going to get that Advent Rising 2, but I like that as a choice because that is something I thought looked neat. How's that game play, and what would you want the sequel to play like? Because I never played it.
Well, it plays like Mass Effect. I mean, if I had to compare it to any game, it would be Mass Effect. I mean, it's not as good and it's not as polished, but you have your space travel.
Sucks shit, but yeah.
No, and you have your moral dilemma. You have you have your big bad that you're trying to fight, what was the guy's name from Mass Effect? Sauron? No, that's Lord of the Rings.
Saruman. Yeah, Saruman and Sauron were
Saruman the Wise.
He's I know who you're talking about, but I
Saren.
can never remember that game. Yeah, Saren.
You have that character. I don't know if they were to go back to it. I would love more space exploration. I would love to see, because they did. I'd love to see a mixture between third person on land and being able to do space fights.
That'd be cool.
Some dogfight stuff. Yeah. So
can you level up in that game? Was there? I know this was the original Xbox, so not every game had leveling up at that time.
So you level up yourself, and you can level up your equipment and all that stuff. So it wasn't. With Mass Effect, I always had a hard time knowing what kind of gun I want to use. They didn't overwhelm you with options in this one, so that's kind of why I liked it. It was a little more basic.
Mass Effect 1 was a lot better with that than Mass Effects 2 and 3. They only had 6 guns in that game, so it's hey, you want to use an assault rifle? Here's one of 2 options. Go. Okay, so I will go with my second choice, and this one I've talked about before on old Super BS. It's my Dream 3 wishlist game. I would still love this to exist. Shadows of the Empire. I would love a sequel, a 100% remake, anything of that. That game, to me, if you could make it where it's not level-based, but instead of after you knock down the AT-ATs, you fly into the bunker and you get out of the ship, and then you go on and do things, that game, I probably played that game 5, 6, 7 times as a kid. I absolutely loved it. I'm not even a huge Star Wars fan, but I think Shadows of the Empire, because it had so many varied levels and had kind of a neat story for the time, was a blast.
Dash Rendar.
That's what I'm all about, man. Dash Rendar fan fiction over here all day. That's what I write. This is when I get our website up, it's mainly going to be Dash Rendar fan fiction.
Do you want it to like resemble what they did with Fallen Order,
yes,
or do you
100%. Like I want it to be Fallen Order, but a third-person shooter, maybe a little bit better controlling, but like an Uncharted almost. Like better controlling than that. So like maybe a Last of Us, because I don't like the way Uncharted plays. But like that, but with good dogfight mechanics. So like what I haven't played it yet, but it sounds like Star Wars Squadrons is like supposed to be really good. Like give me those two things like in the middle. That to me, that was the bummer about Fallen Order, was it's just the on foot stuff. There's nothing in the ship. And to me, the cool thing about Star Wars and Shadows of the Empire specifically was it's like, oh, you want a speeder bike level? Yeah, you do a speeder bike level in the Mos Eisley planet.
Yeah, we
gotcha. You want to fight a robot? IG-84, ever heard of him, brah? Like, all the other Star Wars games, like, there's some very good ones, Knights of the Republic, Fallen Order, Rogue Squadron, but they all only do one thing. I want that game that does more than just that. And I know there's other ones that have attempted it, but to me, like, Shadows of the Empire is still, like, one of the best. So Shadows of the Empire 2 or Shadows of the Empire Remake, 100% remake. Now hit me with your number 2.
My number 2 on my list here, I have one that I'm always talking about, Alan Wake.
Oh, really?
I want an Alan Wake sequel. I really love the way... So Alan Wake was fun. It was frustrating because you know that typical, like, when a third-person game is not designed well and you just keep jumping into nothing all the time?
Yeah.
So that was Alan Wake 1. Then when Alan Wake American Nightmare came out, they seemed to fix that mechanic, and it played a lot smoother. And so I would love to have an Alan Wake 2 back in another like mountainy setting. You know, we don't necessarily have to do the desert, though that was fun for a few minutes. I love the setting of Alan Wake 1, so would love to see him back in the mountains again. Would love to see maybe a few more weapon types. And just have the same like fluid combat they had in Alan Wake's American Nightmare. That would be just a dream to me.
Yeah, man. I would like a new Alan Wake as well. The only thing that puts me reticent to like be on top of a list is Control is kind of that. I don't like Control nearly as much as Alan Wake. Did you ever get around to playing it?
No, I want to. I'm still trying to finish Quantum Break. Like I want to play those games in order.
Just give up on
first.
That, man. Give up on Quantum Break. That game is not fun. Like I feel bad. Like I want to like it because I try to give most Microsoft games a shot. That is not a fun game. I'm going to hit you with a twofer for my number 1 because you know me, I'm a bad boy. I like to break the rules. If I say 3, I like to do 4. If I say 4, I like to do 10. You know how I roll, bro. Here's one of my twofer, and this is why I couldn't just stop at this. The first one is kind of expected from me. I love a Chrono Trigger remake in the style of Final Fantasy VII remake, but not spread out over multiple games and not changing the story. I would love it. I would absolutely love it. I would be okay with a sequel, but I would love that like perfectly animated 3D remake of that game. Like, even if you have to condense some of the world map sections down slightly, I'm okay with that. Just give me that game. Final Fantasy VII Remake showed that Square Enix can do, like, remakes really well outside of some parts at the end. But, yeah, give me that. But the real one that I've always wanted ever since I've been a kid, I don't think I'm ever going to get this game, but I need it, is Mother 64 or Earthbound 64. Earthbound on Super Nintendo, Mother 2, is a great game. Never finished it, but even when I was a kid, I had Nintendo Power, and they used to show off Mother 64 as like for 64 graphics, it was cool because it was like kind of claymation style. Just an RPG going around like any town USA style stuff, which I always love in RPGs. That's why Ni no Kuni was pretty great on the real world sections. But yeah, you do that and you meet people and you fight, homeless people or whatever you fought in Earthbound, which is definitely politically correct. Nowadays.
Yeah, you're fighting homeless people.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, it's a politically correct game. You fight homeless people and hippies and all the people. Everybody loves Earthbound for its politically
what's the
correct
shopping cart
viewpoints.
situation is what we want to know here.
They all got them and they're loaded. No, it's a fun game. Like, I just want it because that's like a holy grail of games that I saw that got canceled. That, like BC, a bunch of other ones, but that's for another time, BC. I'll talk about you another time. But you remember what BC is, right?
No.
Okay, real quick. Peter Molyneux's game about you're playing as a caveman and you go and you build like a tribe and you open world. Yeah. Coming out at the same time as like Fable, never launched.
That's right.
Like with all those other games. Anyways, yeah. So I'd have to do a twofer. I would love Chrono Trigger. Honestly, more of a remake than a sequel because I think they would box the sequel.
I would absolutely be down for that. I would love to go back to that game.
Even if they kept it turn-based, action time battle, I think I would be okay with that. Even though, I mean, I'd love an action RPG, but I'm just saying, like, I could do that game again as an ATV system.
I don't think they would because, I mean, look at, as far as like RPGs go, nobody wants, there's not a lot of turn-based stuff coming out anymore. It's all like, has an active battle system now. So.
Yeah, and I'm not a purist. I'm okay if it's active, but I'm just saying, like, I am okay with either of those. Just make it beautiful and keep the same story, keep the same setting. Try to not eliminate anything in that game because that game was pretty perfect as far as games go. And yeah, the other one was the hidden surprise Mother 64. So hit me with your number one. It better be better than all those games I just talked about because they're incredible.
Oh, it is. This is a call out to our good friend Dr. Donna
Halo 64
here. Croc 3. I want a Croc 3.
I wouldn't have guessed that in a million years. Even when you said that, I was thinking like, oh, it's some RPG. I mean, did anybody even play Croc 2, Legend of the Gobos?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Oh, really? Okay. I played original Croc on PlayStation. Tell me what you dream Croc 3 would play like, because I would love to know what you do in a Croc 3.
I would like a headbutting mechanic like in Spyro. I would like Croc to breathe fire. So basically, I want Croc to be Spyro. That's what I would want for a Croc 3.
I've got actually some kind of bad news for you, man. Croc 3 once did exist, like Mother 64. It was called Croc 3 Stone of the Gobos, but it got canceled. What? It was going to be coming to PSP, Game Boy Advance, PS2, GameCube, and Xbox. It was going to continue directly where Croc 2 left off.
Why would you cancel $1 million idea?
Probably $1 billion idea.
Was Orson Scott Card involved in this?
Yeah, he was there. He was. This was when everybody loved him too. Now, but you'd be facing Baron Dante, the very memorable bad guy, and you'd be saving those gobos again, man. Oh boy, this fandom is beautiful. If you guys want this Croc 3, and there are more fire trucks passing. I have been burning tons of Japanese games since we've been doing it. But, yeah, dudes, Croc 3, man. And, yeah, that would be a very beautiful thing. So join us more as we join us more. Don't even guess what I'm saying there. Don't even look into the words I'm saying. Join us more. Everybody knows what that means. And, yeah, keep joining us as we talk about all this cool S. Anything you want to plug before I go? Because I know you've been working on all those sweet, sweet things.
No, not at the moment. I haven't had a chance to work on any of them sweet, sweet things in a couple weeks. But next episode.
I'm going to plug a lot of stuff right now. Hims, it's a boner pill just in case you can't get your boner enough. I'm going to be plugging, Tinder.com. I'm plugging Match, eHarmony. Guys, you got to go there. You got to find the person of your dreams. This is what it's all about. Super BS. We're there to match you with others, okay? So hopefully you found your match. If you're a person who's interested in looking for another, please write an article saying, hey, we listened to this episode.
If you are one person looking for another person, Match.com is where to go.
Do a Craigslist ad. Say, hey, I listened to Super BS episode 16. If you did as well, which, I mean, there's not many of you. So if you find that other match, then you'll know you're a match made in heaven, okay? We're there. This is it, okay? This is serendipity for you guys, okay? I'm the Sandra Bullock in this scenario. Me putting you together. And Big J over here is the Ben Affleck. This is a really weird scenario, though, because we're not supposed to be together, but we're putting other people together, okay? We're a matchmaker. Doing double time. Okay, my bros, we will talk to you next week where we'll hopefully have more to say than just playing old games and kissing people and whatnot. But go out, kiss your parents on the lips, and have a good week. And that was my brother, and me quote. So I'm going to steal it because we only have 8 people, so they won't mind. Peace.
Butts.
Oh, yeah.